Ubisoft, I usually care for you. I usually rep you. I usually talk about you. I usually hold you up to high standards. You finally catch up and you finally do the things that you're supposed to do, but then you finally take a step back and mess up. Ubisoft just had the E3 conference this year, and honestly, we got to talk about it. Cue the music! Ubisoft finally had their E3 conference this year, one of the bigger companies that people were waiting for to see because they had a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, and a lot of things that people really wanted to see. However, they kicked off their Ubisoft conference with another Just Dance intro. However, it didn't go on too long. It was actually catchy, very smooth. You know, they had the panda dancing. They had a couple of backup dancers. It wasn't no celebrity star like Jason Derulo or Usher or anybody like that, but they had a pretty smooth, pretty rhythmic concert for these people, and it actually was kind of dope. I actually enjoyed it. I found my head bobbing, finger snapping, toe tapping, whatever the case may be. And then they kicked off with some Beyond Good and Evil 2, started off with a cinematic trailer, showing off some of the protagonists and some of the character models, which looks really cool, really crisp. And then by the end of it, they gave us a really huge surprise as we see Jade from Beyond Good and Evil 1 make an appearance, and this time she's evil. She's standing there with a sword, looking all badass and mean, and they do establish that this is a prequel. Now, Beyond Good and Evil 2 gameplay was shown, but they never zoomed in as they were talking about it. They actually kind of stayed out, but the game does look good. It looks superb, it looks clean, it looks crisp, and it actually looks damn good. And I'm not sure when it's going to be releasing, but it still has that 2019 hint and funk at it. Also, what they established with Beyond Good and Evil 2 is that they're working with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who does this thing called hit record for people that's coming up, artists that's coming up, really. And as they have this Space Monkey program for Beyond Good and Evil, where artists can put in their art for the game, or they can put in their music for the game and get noticed and get traction and be put on the credits or whatever, which is actually kind of cool. They're working with people to make things happen, which is actually pretty fly. Ubisoft began to take another L as they had this cringe moment, and boy, do I mean cringe. They had this cringe moment with the Trials Fusion developer, and he came out in the Evil Knievel suit, kind of representing what he did last time with Trials of the Blood Dragon with the badass suit that had flames on it or whatever. And he did it again. He came out on a motorbike, and he got on stage and tripped over this stand with the TV on it, and that was the cringiest of cringiest moments. So I gotta be honest, it was looking shaky and sketchy from that point right there, as they were announcing a new Trials game called Trials Rising, and they had a guy called Professor Trials or something like that come on stage and had this development and this discussion about it, and it went on for a little while. Just announced it was coming out for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and that they're having a beta on it. Now, that's cool and all, but for moments like that, which was like a bit long and a bit like it ran the course for a little while longer than it did, so I gotta give them a gripe on that, because that went way too long and way too much. It was too much. It was trying to be a moment where it was funny, but it's more funny because it was so stupid that I had to like laugh at why were they doing this and trying to be like super cool about it. The Rainbow Six, which, you know, Rainbow Six is a growing game. They announced they have 35 million growing players, which is great. Rainbow Six deserves it. Very cool game, very honest game. I still play a little bit. But then they took a minute to talk about this documentary that they're going to be having with Twitch players and esports players. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? All of this stuff could have been in a blog. They could have talked about it there, but they had to take the main stage and talk about that also, which then got very, 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 very cringeworthy as it continued on for a minute. And after the Rainbow Six announcement and the little documentary they started to show off some Skull and Bones gameplay. Yeah, honestly, this was one of the games that I was anticipating because this game does look good. Now, there was some information, some details that they showed after the Ubisoft conference where you can't control anybody on the ship besides the pilot, which is kind of, alright, cool. But the game does look good, and it's one of my most anticipated, as I really am stoked because the Black Flag team is on it, and they did Black Flag, Rogue, the DLC for Assassin's Creed 4, and it just looks damn good. And then right after that, we had the trailer for Honor, Marching Fire, which introduces Chinese warriors to the For Honor universe, which is really cool. And they're bringing in a new siege mode called Breach, where you break into the castle and try to take it over, which is also something that people were recommending back when the game first started. And that game does look cool also. And that mode does look cool. And it really had my eye because the Chinese warriors actually look kind of badass. It's a free update, and they're bringing in more characters for people to come in and enjoy For Honor, which For Honor is still one of Ubisoft's running games, and it does seem to be even more better. Now, another thing they showed at this conference, in-depth thing that they showed at this conference was the Division 2 and how, like, a full in-depth gameplay scenario from it. And really, it looks kind of the same. It looks good graphically, and they updated to a new location and still showing off, yeah, the virus hit this place and this place and this place, as you've been following the Division story, but it seems to be some of the same things. Now you just got a couple more classes to choose from and a couple new weapons and so on and so forth. While it does look good graphically, and I'm kind of want to see where it goes from this point on, I can't really say like it's a day one, but the game does look good, and I'm glad they're actually pumping out for fans to actually get to it, and it's coming out in 2019. So March 15, 2019 is the release date for it, so if you're looking into it and looking for it, there goes your So they showed off this game called Transference. Now, if you remember back in, like, what was it, 2017, they showed this game off, was being done by Elijah Wood, but they really didn't give much of a hint on it. But basically, it was just supposed to be, this is Elijah Wood's game. He wrote it, kind of helped out with it, and they have multiple actors in VR for it. It's coming out for PlayStation and PC, and it looks kind of cool. It's a horror game. Looks very dope. It's more like a futuristic, popping your brain kind of horror game, but I can't knock it because it does look dope. If I had a VR, I would be interested, but I'm really not. And it was actually kind of well paced. Elijah Wood talking about it on stage, and the creative director behind the game was talking about it, and it has my eye just because it's a horror game, and I want to see how this cast is looking. Like, I see a bit more I see a bit more actors like really stepping in the forefront for this game also. And then they showed this game called Starlink Atlas. Now, if you remember correctly, this was the game where it involved toys, and it involved being on the Nintendo Switch, which I believe is coming to PS4 and Xbox One also. I'm not too sure, don't quote me on that, but the game does look cool. Has a CGI trailer. It looks like No Man's Sky had a baby like Dreadnought and Everspace, and created a big bang that included toys, and it looked dope because it really caught my eye from the trailer. It looked badass, like you're fighting other ships, you're fighting this big ass beast, and it was just like a very interactive game, very spacey, very dope. However, you don't have to buy the toys, which what I noticed. You can just download the chips from the market, and it'll be like included into the game for you, which is actually an upside because I don't feel like spending any kind of money on toys that I need to get, just because I was kind of burned on that from Disney Infinity and that one Spyro game. So I'm glad that they said, hey, just download the ships if you want them. No need to get the toys if you really don't feel like buying them and collecting them, because some places aren't going to run the toys, let's be honest. But it does look cool. It is on my list of like games that I'm really interested in. And then right after we had a moment talking about the crew. The crew beta is going to be open June 26th, and basically it was just going to be dope. Now, I enjoyed the crew. I had fun. I had fun playing it with the Mog Boys. You know, we was having fun talking about it, catching up on the 1 year anniversary, and really doing our thing with it. So I am very interested in the crew. I will be re-downloading this, and you can preload the beta if you really want to play it again. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be talking about that. However, they really didn't give us a release date for it. So I'm kind of concerned, like, is it going to be 2019? Is it going to be this year? Tell me something so I can be able to buy this, because I am interested in this game, and I haven't been interested in a racing game since Forza Horizon 3 and possibly Forza Horizon 4, really. And then they showed, finally, the big one, the real big one. They finally showed off Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I gotta be honest, I gotta be real with you. I gotta be real with you, Chief. I was concerned at first. I was nervous about how they do that because I referenced it on my last video. I had some concerns, but they met the match. I still have some concerns, and I'm gonna do a breakdown video off of this later on, but they're hitting the peak. They're making the mark. They're meeting the match. They're touching my soul. Assassin's Creed is in Greece. They're doing with Spartans. You're looking badass. You have romance options like they're doing BioWare things here. And you can pick whether you want to be a female or male. Oh my God, the story looks great. They're giving me Themyscira vibes with Wonder Woman. They're giving me 300 vibes from This Is Sparta. And yo, this game looks great. Graphically, it looks great. It looks good in motion, and basically they just have my attention. They have my eye, and I really can't wait to play this game. Ubisoft actually nailed it out the park, as this was their saving grace for this conference, as the conference wasn't really that up to par, nor was it reaching that peak. If I had to give Ubisoft a score, it's looking like a solid 2.5 out of 5. And really, C, because it wasn't really that great, and it didn't start getting great to the near end with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is the biggest thing that they've shown, and it comes out in October. I cannot wait for that game. That game is going to be day one because I'm an Assassin's Creed junkie. I'm an Assassin's Creed fan. But I do have my concerns, like I said earlier, and I will be talking about them in a different video. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey, what they're doing, what they showed us, they're continuing the Apple of Eden story. As you can see, Leonidas gives you a broken spirit, which kind of has this magical power to it. Then you can have set skills and all this kind of crazy stuff, man. Yo, I'm set. And it's conversational dialogue. Like, they really taking notes from BioWare, Horizon Zero Dawn, and many other games that's taking us. Assassin's Creed is in a whole new area, a whole new location. They're really nailing it. And with that being said, folks, that is it for my Ubisoft thoughts and review. Until next time and until the next review, guys, we'll tune in, turn up, and throw down. Looking like a GG, and I'm out.